Shalom, I'm Moreh Matan, and welcome to a very special Passover edition of the Moreh Minute. First of all, I want to wish you and your family a very blessed Passover season. This is not only an important holiday time in the Jewish world and in the Messianic world, but it should be in the Christian world as well. This is the holiday that commemorates the Exodus from Egypt, the coming out of slavery and going into freedom, the passing over of God's judgment because of the obedience to put the blood on the doorposts and the lintels of the homes. This is something that has such significance. But I just wanted to share a brief teaching with you today about the bread that is eaten at Passover. It is called in Hebrew matzah, and we know it as unleavened bread. Now, in most Christian traditions, communion bread is unleavened. And this is why. It is a commemoration of that Passover bread, the unleavened bread. It is known in the Haggadah, the book that you follow along the liturgy of Passover, as the bread of affliction. But in the particular book that is put out by our parent ministry, Ahavat Ammi Ministries, called From Nisan to Nisan, which, by the way, you can download for free at the website. This particular Haggadah has messianic commentary, a full messianic commentary companion to what goes on at the Passover. And in that book, Rabbi Shapira points out that this phrase, bread of affliction, also it has a connotation of being the bread of life. Think about that for a moment. The bread of affliction, the poor bread, is also looked at as being the bread of life. Now we know that when our Messiah Yeshua came, that he was about humility, about laying himself down. And his followers, the writers of the New Testament, were about that as well. Esteem others above yourselves. Put others' needs above your own. These are common themes in the New Testament. This idea of the bread of affliction, or the poor bread, also being the bread of life, reminds us of Yeshua himself, because he is the one that humbles himself. He is acting as the servant to everyone, even at what Christians call the Last Supper, washing the feet of his disciples. He is the bread of affliction. He is the poor bread, but he is also the bread of life. Remember, during the Passover season, and Paul talks about this in the New Testament, sometimes leaven or yeast is looked at as a symbol of sin, because after all, it rises, it causes things to be puffed up, and that can be a symbol of pride. And so Paul says, let's get rid of the old yeast since Yeshua, our Passover, has been sacrificed. So this connection of the bread of affliction and the bread of life, I think, is really dynamic. I think it's something that we can all learn from, because the one who was afflicted is also the one that gives us life. And in our lives, as we afflict ourselves, so to speak, through different times of fasting and prayer, we are renewed in our spiritual lives. And so we see the connection between affliction and life. I pray that this season is a wonderful remembrance for you of what Yeshua did for us and what we need to be doing for the world itself. So may you and your family have a blessed Passover season, and we pray all of God's blessings upon you and yours. Chag Sameach, Shalom, and Kol Tuv.